Oh, you just pressed play on This Week with Drunk Astrology. My name is Graham Breitenstein. I'm your astrologer and the creator of Drunk Astrology. If you're looking for someone to make astrology make sense to you and for you, well, my friend, you have come to the right place. Here on this podcast, we discuss the weekly cosmic weather. And when we break it down, we break it down. I believe that astrology can be used as a tool to inform your daily decisions and enhance your day-to-day life. So if you're ready to have a hell of a lot of fun with astrology, make some strategic decisions, and to just keep it real, well, that journey starts right now. Hello, Astro lovers. Welcome to the podcast for the week of December 5th through the 11th, 2022. It is a moving and a grooving week. I am sitting here with my Find Your Zen Bitch coffee mug, drinking my coffee, feeling all the warm feels, feeling all the love. You know, Sagittarius season lights up a Virgo's fourth house. So it's all about home and family and the warm fuzzies. Who makes you all giddy and warm? And you know what? For this Virgo astrologer, you do. So thank you for giving me the warm fuzzies each and every week that I get to share astrology with you. So thanks for tuning in. This week, in a nutshell, Mercury and Venus both enter Capricorn. Now, that is going to be a nice little sense of grounding, because right now, prior to this week, we've had the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in Sag, Mars and Gemini, air, just adding fuel to the flame, and that's a lot. That's no Earth in the personal planets, and, Uranus and Pluto, the only two that are really holding it down, and Uranus, you can't really count on holding him holding down anything, because he just shakes and quakes and changes things unexpectedly all the time. And then Pluto, is just moving real slow and just clearing up our infrastructure, right? Just transforming us from the inside out. From a stability standpoint. So, this is going to be a nice reprieve. Mercury and Venus both entering Capricorn. We get a little serious, and love, from a Venus standpoint, love gets real. Are you going to be part of my big picture dreams or not? And if you're not, goodbye. Mercury in Capricorn is about that work, about that money, about that success, about that ambition, baby. I got my mind on one thing. It's also very traditional Capricorn energy. So now we're going to start really getting, whatever your holiday traditions are, if you have them, and hey, maybe your tradition is screw traditions, right? Whatever your holiday traditions are, this week we really start leaning into them. We really start feeling that. So some of you might be putting up your trees. Some of you might be preparing for whatever holidays you celebrate. Tis the season. Now, smack dab in the middle of the week, we have a Gemini Full Moon, which activates the story from May 30th, Gemini New Moon, which ended eclipse season. That was our first eclipse season. That Gemini New Moon on May 30th wrapped up that eclipse season. So I want you to think back. Go back to May 30th and the first 2 weeks of June, and see what is taking place right now and through this week, how it is culminating stories from that time. So, your astrologer's got a story. So, and this is going to lead to the 1.5 bulletin board items that I have. So, stick with me, okay? Because this is all going to wrap up and make a lot of sense. I want you to see astrology in motion. Okay, so I looked back before getting on to record. I looked back to that time, as you know, as longtime listeners, I have a impeccable Virgo scheduler agenda where there's a top half of each day and then there's a bottom half of each day. And so the bottom half is always the aspects, the moon, the planets, cycles, and the top half is what I did that day. It's not a journal, really. It's not a diary. It's just more like, this is who I talk to. This is where I'm at mentally. This is what I'm thinking about, ideating, etc. So I looked back, And two things. One, I got COVID during that Gemini new moon. This is when I say eclipses, just because we have the lunar phase that takes us out of eclipses, we can really, we have to recover. There's like a grace period you got to give ecliptic type moments. And that was definitely one of them because I got COVID during that time and it took me down. Oh, it took me down. But at the same time, I was invited into the She Media Collective, which is this global ad network that has been so phenomenal to me since meeting them 6 months ago. They sent me over an email invite. They then sent me a pitch deck, Mel over at She Media. Thank you, because you're just the greatest. And so now, so while I had COVID, I was getting these proposals and this pitch deck, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is so big, and this is so huge for Drunk Astrology and for just as a platform and as a business, and to have a network, that supports me and really put themselves behind me is just like, it's phenomenal. But I was like barely able to move, barely able to eat. Thank God for Herman. Thank God for other friends that would drop off, Kaylee, Shauna, for just dropping off food at my doorstep and just making sure that I was alive. So thank God for them. But at the same time, these emails were coming through, and I was like, how am I going to finagle this? So long story short, I did. We signed on. When I recovered, we had our meeting, and everything was great. And now 6 months later, under this Gemini full moon, Drunk Astrology is going to be at its first She Media hosted event at the LA 3C Music Festival, December 10th and 11th at LA State Historic Park. And I'm going to be there under the She Media Meaningful Marketplace. So I believe it's 20 vendors, and Drunk Astrology is one of them. And it's a really big deal. I mean, they have, up until recently, Meg Thee Stallion was the headliner, but now she has, it's changed to Lil Baby. There's Maluma. There is, oh gosh, why am I forgetting? But I mean, huge acts. I mean, DJ acts. I mean, this is like Coachella level, but in the middle of downtown LA. And I get to be a part of this music festival, and it's huge, and this is a culmination of that Gemini full moon. And so if you are it's a culmination of the Gemini new moon, sorry. So if you're in the SoCal area and you love music festivals and you want to start the end of the year off right, then come check out LA3C and come to the She Media Meaningful Marketplace, because your astrologer is going to be there. And and it's starting today, I'm making 180 zodiac candles, 120 cosmic body oils. I'm also going to be slanging some of that zodiac merch that I've been from the web store that I just launched. So that is to say, and I'm also going to be doing some readings. So if you want an in-person reading, Saturday is going to be the day for that, because Herm Dog's going to be there with me. I love calling him Herm Dog. So if you're not local or you can't make it to the festival, but you want to show support and show love this week, please go to drunkastro.com and shop all the goods. That's your way to get it. You don't have to be local. You can be in the States, you can be in Canada, and you are gonna get your goods. And a little subsection to that, a little subline, asterisk, is that this is the last week, the 11th, 12th, and 13th, and each product is noted on the website. But the 11th, 12th, and 13th are the last days to purchase anything with guaranteed delivery by Christmas. So if you're trying to buy a manifestation journal for you or yourself and you want it before Christmas, a coffee mug, a Zodiac t-shirt, hoodie, tracksuit, what else is on there? I've got all the things. Wine tumblers, which are actually just great tumblers for iced beverages, period. I've been drinking iced coffee and kombucha out of my wine tumblers, and they are, the cups don't sweat. They don't feel cold. You can't tell there's ice in them. It's really, way better than I was even imagining. So all that to say, that is astrology in motion. Now, there was also another story going on under that Gemini new moon, and it was tied to all this stuff. As a dancer, all the things that I've done and the work that I've done, and there was a lot of swirly energy going on there. So I'm assuming that now I'm going to be hearing some things under this Gemini full moon, because now that persnickety little story is probably going to pop. So that's astrology in motion. There's some other things we're going to talk about this week, but that is, in essence, the week in a nutshell. Let us pick up. Let me make sure. Nope. I'm not going to start the moons just yet, because this is one thing, because I know, because things are going to pop this week when it comes to Jupiter. So this is what I want to, just the seed I want to plant in your ear right now. So whether you are washing dishes, taking a walk, driving in, on your way to work, or just like chilling in bed, listening to all your podcasts, I want to put this in your ear, because this is going to be potent, and things are about to get real potent from Jupiter, okay? This week, Jupiter is at 29 degrees of Pisces. The last degree of any sign is 29 degrees, and it is called the anaretic degree. And when planets get to the anaretic degree, they squeeze out the last little bit of lessons, growing pains, opportunities, challenges from just whatever, however long that cycle was. Well, Jupiter has been in and out of Pisces all year. And this is the final, I always think of it as a sweaty gym shirt. This is the last ring out, okay? So he's at 29 degrees from now until December 21st when he enters Aries. And Mercury and Venus are going to pop him this week. Okay, so you're gonna get that last squeeze from whatever Jupiter has been ending and wrapping up for you this year. This is the nice little, it might not be nice, because Jupiter is our maximizer. He's our growth guy. He's our growth god. So anything this year that has been blocking your emotional growth, blocking your spiritual growth, blocking you from a karmic standpoint, anything that you have, just like any emotional blockades, Jupiter is now, from the 5th through the 21st, what is that, 2 weeks, 16 days? He is going to be wringing the last bits out. Now, here's what I'm going to say to you. You can use this to your advantage. You can use Jupiter at the anaretic degree as a reason to face and confront whatever you don't want to bring into the next 12 years. Because when Jupiter enters Aries, he is wrapping up a full loop of the zodiac. And when he enters Aries, you're going to be intentionally planting seeds for the next 12 years. I say intentionally because now, if you're listening to this, you know the cycle. And when you know the cycle, it's like Mission Impossible up in here. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, because you are consciously co-creating with the universe. But your mission is to start clearing your path so that come the 20th, when he enters Aries, you are planting seeds of hopes and dreams and strategy and bravery and boldness and fearlessness, no glass ceiling type of energy, okay? This is your opportunity. So if you need to forgive someone, that doesn't mean that it has to be to their face. The conversation isn't always possible or safe. So if you need to forgive someone, or you need to confront something that's happened that you know is holding you back, then baby, you've got 2 weeks. You've got 2 weeks. And maybe I'm part of this Mercury-Venus squaring Jupiter this week, because he's popping. Both of these planets are popping this. So Mercury is hearing about it. So hello, I might be acting as your Mercury square Jupiter, which is happening Monday the 5th. Or on Friday the 9th, when Venus squares Jupiter, if it's a relationship that needs to be let go of, if it's financial blocks, right? What is your financial belief system? What do you believe you're worth? What's stopping you from making the money or gaining the relationship of your dreams? What is it? That's what Jupiter's going to want you to confront this week and for the next 2 weeks while he's riding in the anaretic degree of Pisces. Okay? So you can be conscious and very intentional with this. If you've already got it in your mind what it is, or if it's a belief system, if it's a relationship, if it's an event that you haven't confronted, whatever it is, this is the time to break self-sabotaging patterns, thought, belief systems. If you've been repeating behaviors and just sabotaging yourself and knowing that it's not doing you any good, then baby, I'm going to encourage you to cut that ish out, because Jupiter's going to enter Aries and you are going to, whether you're intentional about it or not, you're going to be planting seeds that will grow and sprout for the next 12 years. So I ask you, dear listener, what do you want those 12 years to be like? You want to plant seeds of doubt? No. You want to plant seeds of fear? No. Do you want to plant seeds of joy? Yes. Seeds of happiness? Yes. Seeds of love? Oh, yes. Seeds of abundance? Financial growth and prosperity? Yes. Yes. Those are the things I want. If you're listening to this, it is my duty as your very Virgo astrologer to serve your highest good and serve your highest potential. So, baby, clear the muck. 2 weeks to clear the muck. And then we're riding high. We are going to ride so high. Oh, if you've been feeling restricted, or if you've been feeling like you're plateauing, like nothing's moving, if you're feeling uninspired or unmotivated, clear the muck. We're going to clear it. We're going to do it together. Okay? That's one thing that's been popping off in my readings lately. Whoop, I've had a bunch of new clients come through, and y'all, the things that we unlock in these one-on-ones, baby, that is, and it's really about unlocking joy in your chart, right? And unlocking happiness in your chart, and it comes from understanding your blueprint. So whether it's one-on-one or with what I can do as a person that is in your ear from a distance in this podcast, I just want you to get the life that you're dreaming of. That's all. I want you to get everything that you desire, because you can. Okay. Last thing before we get to the moons, Neptune's station dissipates. So if last week was just hellacious for you, if you felt like you were just moving through slug and muck and, just uninspired, not motivated, super sleepy, there was a lot of other things happening, so you still could have been productive in getting things done. But if things weren't really going according to plan last week, blame Neptune. Now, we're still in his station this week, but the energy dissipates on Thursday the 8th. So you should feel this week like the slug is moving out, and you should feel your energy come back. Okay? So I know I got a lot of messages on Instagram about how everyone was like, yo, what is going on? I had a lot of conversations about, what's happening, and yeah, we're on the other side of it, okay? So we'll be moving our way through that. Now, let's get to the moons, shall we? On Monday, December 5th, the moon is in Taurus. On Tuesday, December 6th, that Taurus moon goes void at 11:02 a.m. with a sextile to Jupiter. Positive forward motion. Because now Jupiter's at this anaretic degree, we're working through a lot. We're processing a lot. So while we're externally active, we're also internally processing. Okay, so just keep that duality in mind, especially over the 2 weeks, and especially anytime you hear a planet making Jupiter aspects. Then on Tuesday the 6th, the moon enters Gemini at 12:49 p.m. Remember, all the times I give you in this podcast are Pacific Standard Time, so adjust for your time zones. On Wednesday, December 7th, the moon is in Gemini, with the full moon taking place at 8:08 p.m. at 16 degrees and 2 minutes. So yes, that full moon culminates the Gemini new moon from May 30th, 2022. And if you have strong mutable planet placements, Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, Pisces, and or anything at 16 degrees, give or take 2 degrees. So we can go to 14 to 18. So if you're looking at your chart while you're listening, I want you to look for anything between 14 and 18 degrees because this full moon's talking to it. And I want you to look at your mutables, Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Pisces, because this full moon is talking to you. So if you are any of those signs, baby, this full moon is coming in a big way, coming in a very big way. Then the Gemini moon on Thursday, December 8th, goes void at 10:13 p.m. with a square to Jupiter. Do you hear all of this Jupiter energy this week? That anaretic degree is getting popped left and right. So externally active, internally processing. Whew. Yeah, that Gemini full moon's it's a biggie. She's popping. She's popping things. I mean, I gave you what, the math and science of my experiences and how this is coming out. But, baby, there's going to be more. There's going to be more. This is so potent. All right. Then the moon on December 8th enters Cancer at 11:49 p.m. It is in Cancer all day Friday, December 9th. Has an opposition to Mercury that day, so watch for emotional volatility. Someone coming at you, an emotional standpoint, really riled up. It could be you, could be someone else. The moon is in Cancer all day Saturday, December 10th, and goes void on Sunday the 11th at 10:49 a.m. with a trine to Jupiter. So that is a lovely, juicy, collaborative, just awesome, warm, fuzzy, they're at home, very homebody. Now, over the weekend, it's really funny because Cancer, for me, is in my 11th house of groups, community, connections, and that trine to Jupiter. It's going to be a great weekend. So if you're a SoCal person or just want to come and you can, come out to the LA 3C Festival, man. It's going to be really nice. I'm really excited about it. Last but not least, the moon enters Leo at 12:09 p.m. on Sunday, and that Leo moon goes void on Tuesday the 13th. At 7:52 a.m. trine to the sun. So that is a beautiful, beautiful energy. Creative, wears its heart on its sleeve, loud and proud, theatrical and fun. I'm telling you, this weekend is going to be lit AF. All right, let's talk about the planets. As I've already mentioned, Mercury on Monday squares Jupiter at 11:05 p.m. So this also goes into Tuesday's energy. So there's that hearing about needing to rinse out and clean out any repeat self-sabotaging patterns or cycles that are holding you back, that are blocking growth and abundance and prosperity. First, you got to acknowledge it. And that's Mercury. Mercury's coming into play to say, are you ready to face this? You ready to talk about this? Because in 2 weeks' time, we're going to be planting something and there won't be time. Because Jupiter in Aries is going to move, baby. He's going to move. Then on Tuesday the 6th, Mercury enters Capricorn at 2:08 p.m. Here's another note about our dear Mercury entering Capricorn. Next week, on the 13th, he's going to enter his retrograde shadow. I know. It just seems like we just got over retrograde stories, and yet now here Mercury goes. So he's going to enter his shadow on the 13th. He's going to station retrograde on the 29th, And he is going to be in Capricorn all the way until February 12th, right? Yep. February 12th, he's going to be in Capricorn. So we are serious heading into 2023. But also, we're kind of being asked to chill. That station on the 29th, it's like, yo. I've had a few people write in and say, when, we have a retrograde right at the top of the new year, do we not do our resolutions? Here's what I say. You still do your resolutions, but you don't get married to them until Mercury stations on January 18th, because likely your priorities will shift. Your goals will shift because Mercury retrograde in Capricorn is going to really ask you to revise and revisit your goals. And when he's backwards, it's just not, that's not a stable position. And Capricorn being the eldest of the earth signs, he wants stability. This is Saturn type energy. So he wants stability, and he wants you to lay the groundwork. He wants to know what block are you going to lay first, and then what block goes on top of that. While he's retrograde, it's a time of discovery and rediscovery and revisiting things that worked in 2022 and things that you want to change for 2023. But until he's moving forward again, we're not going to have all the information we need. So still make your resolutions, because that's a practice that a lot of us do. So you still do that, but you just know, like, okay, I'm going to make these intentions and I'm going to set this, because we also have on the 23rd a Capricorn new moon. So that's great energy for really getting clear about what your goals and ambitions are. But we're already going to be in the phase of his shadow. So we're just going to revisit it. So just keep that in mind, okay? We've got Mercury in Capricorn for a long time. Then on Wednesday the 7th, that Gemini full moon. Now we also have, with this full moon, a conjunction to Mars retrograde in Gemini. So there's a lot of things happening, okay? Mars retrograde in Gemini, it's a lot of communication. He's looking to Mercury, so at that point, he will be in Capricorn. And he's gonna, Mars talking to a Capricorn is pretty nice, because he's just like, oh yeah. What's the plan? What are we gonna do? Okay, but that Mars is retrograde, so we just know that we have to. Things are just up in the air right now. Some things just aren't taking shape yet. They will. I promise you, they will. But right now, they're not. You're in the exploratory phase of this Mars retrograde. So it's just looking at all your options, giving yourself more options. If you have a plan and you're trying to stick to it tooth and nail, you are going to be miserable during this energy. Okay? So I want you to disconnect from that one version that you have, and I want you to embrace variety, embrace another way of getting what you want. Okay, and this full moon is going to pop something, and that conjunction to Mars retrograde, you might want to have a plan, but you need to have plans A, B, and C, and maybe D, E, F, depending on what you have going on. Okay, so just be flexible. That is the big message. That is like that's feeling like it came from another place. But be flexible this week and during this full moon phase for the next 2 weeks. Now we also have just an hour and a half after the full moon hits, the sun has an opposition to Mars retrograde. So this is powerful stuff, guys, okay? So I just go easy, go slow. If you feel like you're doing too much, and this is really funny because I know I'm going to be listening to this on Wednesday. This is what I do. I record for you, and then I go back and listen myself on Wednesday. So it's funny that I'm about to say this because I know this week I'm going to be doing too much with all the prep for this festival. So I know this is a message that I too am going to need to hear. If you're doing too much, you have to balance this out. The nice thing is that Mercury will already be in Capricorn at that point, so you got to get grounded. You got to find your footing. You got to create that footing. So just keep that in mind, okay? There's a lot of ideas swirling. There's a lot of energy and drive going, but you also you need sleep. Capricorn is very much like, okay, these are my needs. So I'm human. I can't just run on coffee. You got to eat properly and sleep properly and give yourself breaks, yada, yada, yada. So that's for you, Futuregram, and for all of you listening. On Thursday, we just have that Neptune station dissipating, which is great. On Friday the 9th, we have Venus square Jupiter. So now she's coming to highlight if there's an emotional block, if there's a relational block, if there is financial blocks. Venus is like, let's let them go. Let's redefine them for ourselves. Let's take emotional responsibility and hold others accountable, but let's also bring the balance and the harmony back. It might feel like a lot. The square to Jupiter, that's a lot. But Venus and Jupiter are what's known as the benefic planets, so the influence is mostly positive and blessed, but when they square each other, they're like, okay, is it your thing or my thing? Which one is it? How about we create balance? How about we both say fill in the blank? Okay? And then at 7:54 that same day, she will enter Capricorn, where she will be until January 4th. So she's just got a little bit of time. But now love gets real, and love and relationships get serious. So if you're single and you're out there mingling, you're probably going to start feeling like, you know what? Screw the jokers if you're not already. Screw these jokers. Screw these kids. Screw these, little nothings that don't have goals and ambitions and drive for themselves. Screw that. Nah, y'all wasting my time. Wasting my time. You're going to get like that if you're single and mingling. If it's not showing long-term potential, it ain't going to work. Okay? So I'm just realizing that, because that's it for the planets, but I just realized I didn't pull a self-care card. So I am going to shuffle while I'm here. You're going to hear me shuffling. So self-care for the week. Okay, well, that happened fast. So your self-care for the week. Oh, yeah. This is with that Jupiter. Self-care of the week is number 41, positive affirmations. There is a beautiful picture of a woman with long black hair made of stars. Her third eye is open, and the affirmations that she has written all over her body: I love myself, worthy, grateful, healthy, happy, I choose love, brave, beautiful. So talk to yourself. Like I said, external activation. There's a lot of things happening outside of you this week. Simultaneously, internal processing. Okay? So your way to take care of yourself through this very activated time is to pay attention to how you talk to yourself. Yeah, I'm going to be stressed this week, but I know I can do it, and I know I can handle it, and I know I have a great support system that'll help me through it. And I know that I'm going to enjoy myself at the festival. The prep is the stress ahead of time, but once I get there and I get to connect with new people and see people and, share what I've made and, with a lot more people than I've ever had the chance to, it's wonderful. And you're wonderful. And you have a lot of amazing things to look forward to. It's just that now these next 2 weeks, you get a clear away. You get to clean house, clean emotional and spiritual slate for you, for those you care about, and for all of us. So I hope you have an amazing week. Keep those positive affirmations going, and I'll see you throughout the week on social media. Until then, see you next week. This is Graham Breitenstein, and you've been listening to This Week with Drunk Astrology. If you want to follow Drunk Astrology, head to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and hit that follow button. And if you want to learn how to put astrology in motion for you, head to drunkastro.com and get on the insider list. If you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google platforms. Tune in next week for yet another opportunity to work in sync with the stars. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.